I got to play Mario Kart World a whole lot before its release, and I want to talk about free roam mode. Nintendo invited me to a Nintendo Switch 2 preview event, which mainly focused on Mario Kart World. But before we get into my impressions, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, because I'm going to be covering the Nintendo Switch 2 a lot. I was able to play about 6 hours of Mario Kart World at this preview event. About an hour and a half to 2 hours of that time was solely on free roam mode. Now, I do want to preface this by saying that I enjoyed my time thoroughly with Mario Kart World, but this is just going to mainly focus on the free roam mode. Free roam mode is just what it sounds like. It's roaming across the map of Mario Kart World. Now, I didn't see an overall objective akin to something like Breath of the Wild, which has a large open map, but still has that main objective of defeating Ganon. I didn't see any objectives like that. Maybe I missed it, but if you're looking for something more of a story mode, I don't believe Mario Kart World's free roam mode is that. Free roam mode felt more like a diversion from the other aspects of Mario Kart World as opposed to its own separate thing. Felt like something that you would do in between finishing Grand Prix or in between races online or waiting for your friends to get online. It didn't feel like its own separate thing with its own separate goals and objectives to do. And even in the menu selection, there isn't an option for you to select free roam. So when you go into like single player, there's Grand Prix versus online, but there is no option for free roam. You just have to press the start button and you get thrown into free roam. Now, that's not to say that I didn't have fun with free roam or that there aren't a lot of things to do in free roam, because I think there actually are a bunch of things that you can unlock and find in free roam mode. One of the things that you can do is find these little meal bags that are food items that allow you to unlock character costumes. Some things about this is you can only unlock costumes for the character that you're currently using. So if you're using Mario, you will only unlock Mario costumes. Also, like special characters like the cow or the enemy characters don't seem to have alternate costumes. So if you find these meal bags and food items and you use it, you will not unlock anything. Just a heads up. One good thing about free roam mode is you could change your character at any time. So if you have found the costume that you want for a certain character, or if you found all the costumes that you think there is for a certain character, you could just switch to a different character and start finding their costumes. You could also find these meal bags in other modes of the game, like Grand Prix, and you can unlock costumes that way. However, I think free roam mode is going to be the easiest way to find and unlock all these costumes. There are also question mark blocks that you can find throughout the world. I don't necessarily know what these do. The two that I found, I believe, gave me stamps, so maybe they just give you stamps, but I don't know if they unlock other things in the world. And some of the trailers showed Peach coins. I did not find any Peach coins, so I don't know what those do either. The main thing that you will be doing in free roam mode is completing P-switch challenges. There are P-switches everywhere. I was playing for like an hour and a half to 2 hours. I probably did 10 to 15 P-switch challenges, and I did not explore that much of the map. So there's probably a ton of P-switches to be found. Now, the P-switches that I did all had the common objective of reaching the goal in a certain period of time, but each P-switch had a different obstacle that they threw in your way to make it more of a unique challenge. One just dropped a bunch of cows in the middle of the course, and you had to navigate through those to get to the goal. There was one where you had to cross a very busy highway with a bunch of bombs, and if you hit something, it was difficult to reach the goal in the time limit. And my favorite one that I found was at the end of a track. A little side tangent on how free roam works: you could drive to the tracks in the world, but it doesn't trigger a race, it doesn't trigger a Grand Prix or anything, so you're just driving on the course. You could probably practice on it, but there's no real objective for you to drive through that course. And I was a little bit disappointed in this because I thought it was going to be more like Forza Horizon, where Forza Horizon, you drive around the world, and if you come upon a track, you could trigger a race straight from there. And I would have really enjoyed if you would drive up to a track in Mario Kart World, and you could just trigger a race or a Grand Prix straight from there, but it doesn't look like that's possible. This challenge that I found was really cool. It was at the end of one of the tracks. I don't know if every track has this, but I'm hoping they do, because I actually really enjoyed this challenge. It was at the very end of the track, and the objective was to race back down to the start of the track within a certain time limit. So it was kind of like going backwards. It was a fun challenge. I really hope that there's more of those, and I hope every track has one of those, just to add more things to do in free roam. Another nice feature about these P-switch challenges is if you fail one, which they were varying in difficulty, some were a little bit harder to do than others. I actually thought the one where you had to race to the start of the track was pretty tough, and if you don't reach the goal in the specific time frame, you could just hit a button to retry. You don't have to drive all the way back up to where the P-switch was. It just automatically takes you back to the P-switch, and you can start the challenge again. Now, if you complete P-switch challenges, you will get stamps that you can customize your carts with. Now, I don't know how many P-switches there are, and I don't know if there's something that you get if you complete all the P-switch challenges, but knowing Nintendo and how they do collectibles, I would bet money that there would be something if you complete all the P-switch challenges, even if it's like golden poop or something. Now, I did really enjoy the time that I spent with free roam mode. I do wish that they had a little bit more like events that you could trigger, or just doing Grand Prix straight from the free roam mode. And maybe you can. Maybe I was doing it wrong. I don't know. I didn't spend that much time in there, an hour and a half to 2 hours, and I did not explore that much of the map. And that actually excites me, because I spent almost 2 hours and didn't even scratch the surface of this mode. So what else is in there? The last thing that I want to talk about is how cool it is to be able to explore these tracks in free roam mode to see the details of the tracks. You know, in other Mario Kart games, you're just playing the Grand Prix. You're just racing on these tracks. You're not really seeing the little details and the little Easter eggs that the developers put into the game and into the tracks. And free roam mode lets you do all of that and more. You could explore the whole track on your own. You could take pictures. You could see all the little details and all the little Easter eggs. And it's just a really neat feature that if you're into seeing all the love and care that the developers put into this game, you're going to have a blast finding all the little nooks and crannies to really build out what Mario Kart World is. I cannot wait for Mario Kart World. At the time of posting, the Nintendo Switch 2 will be out in 2 days. Can't believe we're already there. Mario Kart World launches with the system. I'm getting it, and I cannot wait to explore free roam mode and all the other modes. I'll probably be posting another video with my impressions on some of the other modes that I got to try out, like Versus and Battle and Knockout. I got to try everything. Like I said, I was able to play it for 6 hours, so there was a lot to see, there was a lot to do, and it wasn't even scratching the surface. So I can't wait to get my hands on the full game. But make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and let me know if you're getting a Switch 2 in Mario Kart World. Oh, I can't wait. I'm so excited. It's been 11 years.